Yes, they eat the same food, look the same, have the same religion, speak kind of the same, and have the same general historical roots. But do not call these people Ethiopians.
It's time to learn geography.
No! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. Did you know that Italy tried to take over parts of Africa? Yeah, and it didn't last that long and it didn't end very well. But it happened. But first, Eritrea prides itself on its location, and here's why. Eritrea is located on the Horn of Africa on the east side, bordering the Red Sea to the east, bordered by Sudan, Ethiopia, and Djibouti. In addition to the mainland domain, they also administer the Dahlak archipelago, just off the coast, consisting of 124 small islands, only 2 of which are permanently inhabited, Nora and Dohul, as well as a few of the Hanish Islands that they had a huge dispute over Yemen with, and the South Red Sea Islands in the south. The country is divided up into 6 regions, with the capital and largest city, Asmara, located in the central Mekelle region. The country operates 5 main airports, the largest ones being Asmara, and the former capital when it was under the Italians, Massawa, off the coast. Although Eritrea has the second largest coastline along the Red Sea after Egypt, not many people live there. Other than the cities of Massawa and Assab, most Eritreans live inland, especially in the areas surrounding the capital. This is partially due to the fact that, like some other countries we'll cover in future episodes, Eritrea has a generally dry and inhospitable coast. I mean, the South Red Sea region is kind of classified as one of the hottest areas on the planet. Nonetheless, they take their coastline seriously. When you own land along one of the busiest trading routes on the planet, you tackle that bad boy and tariff it like a boss. I mean, unless your constituents kind of start hating you and then they put up an embargo, but hey, they'll come crawling back. They even set up camp and even have an exclave on the southernmost border with Djibouti on the Dumaira Peninsula because they were like, we want to get as close as we can to that Bab al-Mandab Strait. Home to quite a few archaeological sites like the ones in Kohaito, Matara, and Sanafe with the Aksumite ruins, many of which are yet to be explored, as well as a plethora of centuries-old churches, monasteries, mosques, and mausoleums hidden along the cliffs on the outskirts of towns. The point is, with whatever land that they do have, they work to the best of their ability to feed their ever-growing population. Let's explain. Now, yes, as mentioned before, many of the places in Eritrea's coast are generally hot and dry, which to no surprise is why the camel is actually the national animal. But that's only one part of the country. Surprisingly, they have quite a contrasting land makeup. Just like we mentioned in the Djibouti episode, the general area that Eritrea is located in is a hot mess when it comes to 3 tectonic plates, the Somali, African, and Arabian. All 3 of these converge into an area known as the Afar Triangle. Basically, the land is tearing itself apart. Eritrea is located right at the fork of the East African Rift, including the Danakil Depression shared with Ethiopia being labeled as the hottest place on Earth. Therefore, the rift creates coastal highlands. The results looks like a backwards rain shadow effect in which the coasts are dry and hot and the inland areas are fertile and green. This is also why the majority of the population lives inland. In addition, this gives Eritrea a few volcanoes, most of which are Holocene and extinct, but then again, Nabra was thought to be extinct until it kind of went buck wild in 2011. Inland, you can find a range of landscapes from subtropical rainforests like the ones at Filfil, or you can find green precipitous cliffs and canyons in the southern highlands. Despite the lush interior, there still is an issue with desertification and drought. The entire population is required by law, starting at age 15, to take a month off and terrace hillsides with rocks to prevent erosion and hold in moisture. 80% of the people live off of agriculture, in which crops like barley, beans, lentils, sorghum, and the interestingly small grain teff is grown. Animals thrive in many parts of the country, especially in the lush interior regions. Over 500 different species of birds can be found, as well as mammals like warthogs, aardvarks, hares, gazelles, and hyraxes. In terms of predators, Eritrea seems to have more canine species than feline. Wild dogs, golden wolves, and jackals and hyenas dominate the highlands and plains. Resource-wise, Eritrea actually has a pretty decent diversified economy. However, 2 things they thrive off of are livestock and gold, specifically sheep and goats in the livestock. Gold has actually been mined here for centuries and makes up about 15 or so % of the exports. Hold on to your horses though. Even though they have a lot of gold, they still have quite a ways to go in terms of economic development, which gets a little controversial. Let's discuss that in. Okay, so like mentioned before, Eritreans and Ethiopians will admit that they both have incredibly similar cultures, traditions, belief systems, and even language structures. In every reasonable sense, they are kind of like cousins. However, do not call Eritreans Ethiopians. First of all, the country has about 6.5 million people and has doubled its population since the 1990s. The country is made up of 9 distinct ethnic groups, the largest ones being the Tigrinya at 55% and Tigray at 30%, and the remainder come from groups like the Saho, Kunama, Bilen, Rashaida, and others. Eritrea is one of the only 2 countries that uses the only indigenous African writing system in the world that's still used, which, by the way, side note,
An abugida is an alphasyllabic writing system similar to Arabic and Hebrew that incorporates consonant-vowel clusters into syllable character units. The word abugida even came from 4 letters of the Ge'ez alphabet: A, Bu, Gi, and Da.
So basically, if you want to write something like the word house, it would kind of look something like this. The writing system is used primarily to write Tigrinya, Tigray, and Amharic in Ethiopia. All three languages are pretty similar, and if they listen really hard, Eritreans and Ethiopians that speak these languages can kind of understand each other enough to get by. It's kind of like Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese. Now here's the thing, when Eritreans and Ethiopians meet each other, the first question they typically ask is, "Are you Habesha?" And then they ask which country they're from. So what exactly is Habesha? Habesha people are incredibly unique Semitic mixed African peoples that can only be found in this area. Over millennia, Semitic peoples have mixed in and created this beautiful new group of people found nowhere else, the Habesha. A little bit over half the population adheres to Christianity, predominantly the Coptic Eritrean Orthodox Church, whereas the majority of the remaining population is mostly Sunni Muslim. They also use the Type-C plug outlet, they drive on the right side of the road, and the currency is the nafka. Now, because of the Italian occupation, Eritrea kind of has like a little bit of an Italian twang to it, where some of the buildings and shops have clearly influenced architectural styles. Pizza shops, cafes, and cappuccino and espresso are all over, and many of the residents, especially the older generation in urban areas, can actually still speak and understand Italian. Okay, now this is where the distinctions are really going to start to come out. Let's talk politics. Eritrea kind of gets a bad label from the West because of some of the harsh policies that the government adheres to. Some even have gone so far as to label it as the North Korea of Africa. In the simplest way I can put this, the modern day area of Eritrea was most likely the site of the ancient land of Punt. Fast forward after centuries of other empires and nations taking over until they finally got their independence from Ethiopia in 1993. Guys, I'm on a time constraint. We don't have time for full historical lessons. Just look it up yourselves. Basically, to this day, Isaias Afwerki has been the president since independence in 1993, and the country operates in a strange one-party system that has, how can I put this, rather intense social policies. Everybody, male or female, are required to serve military conscription by the age of 18 and continue with national service. It's estimated that about a third of the country's military in the war against Ethiopia were actually women. Originally, national service was supposed to be for 18 months, but the policy changed and now it's kind of like an indefinite amount of time until the government deems complete. This has been a huge hotbed of controversy for many of the citizens, since some have ended up serving for years and really have no say in it. This has also caused quite a few Eritreans to leave on a daily basis to avoid the conscription laws. The government defends itself by saying that they strongly emphasize the strength and wealth of a unified nation that works moving forward together. This is also one of the reasons why Eritrea doesn't accept most forms of foreign aid, believing that handouts will enable the citizens into an unhealthy dependency. The government has actually kind of done a relatively good job at prioritizing the national budget towards education and health, though. This has in return helped them reach their goals of essentially eradicating polio and most cases of malaria in the entire country. The problem, though, is that there's almost no economic movement, especially in the private sector, with an average annual income of around $600 a year. So essentially the people are fairly healthy, but poor. Cycling is a popular sport out here though, and they actually host one of the most difficult routes in the world, the Asmara Karen Road. A lot of people from all over the world like cycling that road for some reason. Let's talk more about the people who are kind of interact with this country, shall we? Eritrea is kind of, well, if we're going to be completely honest, let's just say they kind of isolate themselves a little bit. They've made enemies with pretty much all of their neighbors, with battles and border disputes and wars with all of them, even Yemen. However, recently Sudan has been kind of fixing up things a little bit, but they still have some issues. This means that they kind of have to look outwards for diplomacy. Now here's the most confusing circumstance. For some reason, they are friendly with both Israel and Iran. The president has gone to Israel for medical treatments and conducts business with them well, but also has visited the president of Iran and has made friendly ties with them. But they are also an observer state of the Arab League. So essentially, they do have some friends, but they just can't be in a room with all their friends at the same time. Some Eritreans might say that on a fiscal level, Qatar and China might be their close friends, but not necessarily their best, since they've invested heavily in their commerce and business. It's complicated. Their best friends are kind of themselves, honestly. In conclusion, yes, Eritrea has some issues, no denying that, but it's also a land overflowing with deep ancient history infused with Semitic African influences, coastal sea lovers, with a few leftover shavings of Italian spice mixed in there. And that's pretty unique, isn't it? Stay tuned! Estonia is coming up next. Hey Geography Peeps, great news! So I thought this video was gone forever because I accidentally deleted it, but Geography Peep Mark soon recovered it. So without further ado, here's researching Eritrea. Hey Geography peeps, welcome back to round 2 of the research journey. So when I made the last video, apparently a lot of you guys emailed me, over 500 of you guys emailed me requesting to give information about your countries. And oh my gosh, I'm just looking at my email right now. Look at this. We got people from Serbia, Estonia, Philippines, New Zealand, even one guy from Tibet. Look over here. Where was it? Tibet. He emailed me and he's like, hey, I could help you with Tibet. Guys, I really appreciate all of the emails, but I can't go through 500 of them. That's crazy. I didn't even realize a lot of you guys would email me after I made that video, but I will eventually save all your emails in the side brackets, and then I may or may not respond to some of you guys. I'll try to respond to as many as I can, but there's so many of you guys. But thank you for wanting to help out with the videos. So anyway, today's episode is on Eritrea. So I know a few things about Eritrea. Funny because we actually have an Ethiopian/Eritrean community here in Los Angeles. It's in the Fairfax district. They got great restaurants. I actually took my interns there when they visited here. But what I do know is that they're similar culture-wise to Ethiopians. Like, I think they kind of speak similar languages. Not exactly the same, but kind of similar. I know that they were taken over by the Italians. And I know that they had a big war with Ethiopia, and I know that they border the Red Sea, and that's about it. So let's go and explore Eritrea together, shall we? And by together, I mean just me as you guys watch. Fascinating. So I'm going to check my emails from you Eritrean Geography peeps. So as you can see here on the sidebar, here's the Eritrea tab. I'm just clicking on it. And as you can see over here, let's see how many. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 10. 10 of you guys from Eritrea watched the show and you like it enough to help me out with the video. So thank you so much to all you 10 Eritrean Geography peeps. Let's read some of the stuff that you guys wrote. So Geography Samere, who goes by SemT, wrote a big, huge list of great things about Ethiopia. Even got some pictures here. These are different styles of coffee pots. Really cool stuff. The flag, people, culture, landscape stuff. That's really cool. I'm gonna put a lot of this stuff in the script. Oh, Eritrea. They do pretty well with, what is this, cycling. Oh yeah, cycling. Okay, I learned that. Cycling is big out here in Eritrea for some reason. Let's see, Jordan. Jordan wrote a lot of good stuff here. I asked a bunch of questions. That was one question I really asked was, what is the biggest difference between Ethiopians and Eritreans? And a lot of them said, you know, honestly, there's not that much of a difference. They're pretty similar, but there are a few, and most of the biggest ones are just political. Oh, I really like how Jordan also sent me this really cool picture of all the ethno-demographic regions of Eritrea. There's 9 of them. That's a really good picture. I'm probably going to use that in the video. Oh, really? So I just found out they actually have mandatory conscription for both males and females. Everybody has to serve in the national service, military. It's one of those conscription countries. I didn't know that. Let's see, cool looking buildings, a lot of cool beaches. Let's see, Sammy wrote me some good stuff. I asked a lot of questions. A lot of people in the West kind of refer to Eritrea as the North Korea of Africa. However, all the Eritrean geography have said that's not exactly completely true. Gonna learn about Eritrea, the country that people call the North Korea of Africa, but a lot of people that have emailed me have said it's not. A lot of Semitic influence. Oh, that's probably the coolest thing about Eritrea. Fascinating. The war. Independence war, and there was the border war. Eritreans, man, you and Ethiopians. So that's some great stuff. I'm gonna read all of the emails. Great content. Okay, I get it. It was my manager from Studio 71. He's all like, Paul, are you working? You better work. Nah, he was just responding to a text I sent him earlier. I was asking him if I should start doing giveaways. Which, by the way, what do you guys think? Should I start doing giveaways on this channel? And if so, what would you like me to give away? Question time for you guys. All right, back to Eritrea. So I'm going to read the rest of the emails later. A lot of good stuff, totally going in the script. You guys are so, I really appreciate it. You guys are phenomenal. Love this stuff that you guys are writing me. Thank you, Eritrean Geography peeps. Let's move on. Time to watch videos on YouTube about Eritrea. Got no rhythm. Okay, so you know what? I'm just going to type in Eritrea. Oh, and what do we got here? The very first video is Eritrea, Africa's North Korea, blackout. Of course, Vice News, you would do a video like that. I knew you would. Just for the fun of it, I think I'll kind of watch a little bit of it, but I'm pretty sure all you Eritrean geography people are just like rolling your eyes like, ugh, come on, Vice News, you really? Alright, so they start off by showing North Korea. Okay, Vice News, yeah. That's totally what Vice News does. You can't imagine what it's like being in here, in this horrible, horrible place. Wait, who are those people? Like, hackers? Why are those people wearing masks? Oh, so he's like a revolutionary. Okay, people do everything behind closed doors. Oh my gosh, just making the whole place look scary. That's... Oh wait, this is just the intro. Oh wait, no, it's not. Okay, wait, so those are Eritreans. Wait, hold on, let me back up. Where was it? Eritrea is the North Korea of Africa. So there's an Eritrean lady protesting Eritrea. You know, I do commend Vice News for getting really in-depth, hardcore, controversial stories out in the open and documenting them in phenomenal quality. And yes, I'm not devaluing the controversy. I do acknowledge that it is there, but at the same time, it's like, come on. State-controlled TV and Francois Hollande. Of course he would get involved, because France is totally in Eritrea's face about everything that they do. Seems like a lot of Eritreans abroad are documented to be complaining about Eritrea, but a lot of the Eritreans in Eritrea are not really complaining that much. Okay, so that's one side of Eritrea. Let's look at another video. The next video literally says, "A visit for Eritrea, the African North Korea." See, is every video just going to call this place the North Korea of Africa? Seriously? You know what, let's try to look at something that doesn't call Eritrea the North Korea of Africa. Okay, what do we got here? What's this? Lia Bairu Gireti, okay, it's by Halanga Eritrea. Okay, it's a music video. This is an Eritrean music video. I've never seen one of these before. Okay. Ooh, alright. Okay. She's singing, she's on a couch, she's having a good time. This is Eritrea. This totally exemplifies life in Eritrea. Sitting on couches and digging in holes and wearing flashy, fashion-y outfits. So fun. Such a great life we have here in Eritrea. Oh my gosh, this music. Eritrean comedian. Okay, so it kind of starts off with, like, you know, some nice music. Little pond, creek. Oh, he's working on that stick. Okay, so apparently, you know, I don't understand any of this because it's spoken in the, I'm guessing that's the Tigrinya language. That guy, the bald guy, he looks like he's probably going to do something really funny really soon. He looks like he's the comedian. He is, okay, you know he's going to be the spotlight of the show. All right, a lady with a baby walking, okay. Ooh, he's spying on them. Ooh, he's spying on the lady and the guy, and the lady, man, look at her hair. She got pretty cool looking hair. Okay, now the guy is stroking his beard and talking to the lady again. She looks distraught, downcast, and they keep talking to each other, and she leaves. And then he's like mad or something, and that's it. That's the end of the video. Maybe that's Eritrean comedy. I don't quite get it. I guess I had to have understood the language, or I don't know. Maybe it's not funny. I don't know. What was that? Ah, here we go. There's a great video called Eritrea Motherland Beauty by Super Gebar. Let's see. This looks like it could be kind of like a tourism video. I like tourism videos. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Is that a washing machine? San Francisco to Eritrea. Oh, it's a guy traveling. Okay, that was the baggage conveyor belt thing. Eritrea, Africa. All right, so we're getting a look at the streets. I'm guessing Asmara, the capital. That's probably the capital. That's usually where typically everybody starts when they go to Eritrea. All right, got some people on the streets, kids in the mountains. Looks really nice. It's really cool. Ooh, camels, people riding camel. Is it safe to ride a camel all the way in the back like that? Oh my gosh, is that how you, that's not how I rode a camel when I was in Saudi Arabia. But then again, my camel had a saddle. All right. Oh, kids jumping off of that building wall thing. Whoa, that is a high jump. Dang, where is that? That looks pretty cool. It's Eritrea. Coastline, nice beaches. This was actually really well done. I mean, the camera work and the depth of field and the lighting and the ISO and all that other stuff, that's, kudos to you. Kudos to you, Super Gebar, for making this video. All right, so I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching me research Eritrea, because it's always a blast when you're watching someone sit and look at laptop screens and try to...
Вот поэтому так получается, что за нами постоянно кто-то ходит.
Я спрашиваю того, кто снимает.
Вы даже не представляете объем, что здесь творится.
The government trying to control everything. They can do whatever they want. That's why we become hackers. I think I'm using the freedom I have and the availability of the digital processes, for my people.
People do everything behind closed doors.
You have to be careful about the intention of the next guys. Anything can happen.
Estamos logrando de informar a las personas, de hacer denuncias, de peor, está marcando historia, está marcando un manual de estilo para el mundo entero.
أكاتب القيو أمتها منتنهي كده مكلا أكهربنا أكايدنا ما
ناس عن قد لذا توانكا من ديت بال توانكا نحبا ويوتكاس نزايك إني مالك
ናጽነት ዘለዋ ሃገር ከአሰብ ተሰዲድ ይወፅእ ኣይወፅእን እዩ ኣነ ብዓደይ ናጽነት ሃሊኒ እንታይ ኮይነ መረብ ሰጊረ ደቀይ ዝብእ ይኽበልዓኒ ዝብእ ምንጥለና ዝብእ ክንቃለስ ኣይመዋዓልና ነርና
ሰላም
ዓዲ ይኹን ብለና ንኽእል ግን እቲ ክዝርዘር ስለ ዘለዎ እዩ ክዝርዘር ዘለዎ እምበር ኣብ ኤርትራ እንታይ ናጽነት እሞ
An estimated 5,000 people leave Eritrea every month, and almost as many men, women, and children left that country last year as fled Syria. It is a human exodus that is all the more staggering when you consider that this is a country of just 6 million people and one that is not presently at war.
Eritrea is officially the world's most censored country. President Isaias Afwerki has ruled the country since its independence from neighboring Ethiopia more than 20 years ago. Access to information is limited. Just 1% of the population have access to the internet, and only 6% have a mobile phone. The law does not allow independent media to operate, and the government controls all media outlets. Foreign access to the country is heavily restricted, with independent footage being extremely rare. In June 2015, the UN published a commission of inquiry on human rights in Eritrea.
The commission found that systematic, widespread, and gross human rights violations have been and are being committed with impunity in Eritrea.
All Eritreans are conscripted into the army for national service that can last their lifetime, a policy which international organizations and politicians have equated to slavery.
I recently renewed sanctions on some of the worst abusers, including North Korea and Eritrea.
Avec l'Érythrée, il faut mettre une pression maximale, parce que ce qui s'y passe est extrêmement grave. Personne n'en parle. C'est un pays qui se vide de sa population.
The Eritrean rebel group Rasado from the Afar region claimed to fight for democracy in Eritrea. The organization conducts missions inside Eritrea, retreating back to safety in neighboring Ethiopia. We met with the group after just having returned from a mission.
أكاه قلت نهتني الحدث توه سنيرو حفيدة أمتها بتانجدي راحت هي تون ملو كبال أيون تاي عالم ساكو أكخليه نهيان يحلاباي أبتانهتني ما يستكى عدو بتبتانهتني نكادو كل سنة يقويسنو 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 ديمقراطي متابعة تما عدلي ددلاي بسم مرحوي سلاماي ينكي معناهم متقدد للدين ديمقراطي ينكي دكتيا كي ددلاي أول نبلنا تككي أكي
حد بالنلا سنام سلام هرنتا كل بارول سلايني إيرترا حدني بارول تككي سلام هنا يمكن مشبو بلو آمن كمرين كل حد يسيح له ليه بنادن تبري هنا دبالي حلو معنا
أكتب بقيو أمتها ملتنيه سدوه تنجي حليه تان مسويناي توه كوكو تكا جحلوت جيتنا في دمك الله أكا هربنا أكا إدنما ربي فايدهن ناي حربي فايدهن يا
طيب بس مراكن على كون أنا يقدر 200 أو
2015 figures from the UNHCR report that there are just under 400,000 Eritrean refugees in East Africa, a figure which equates to around 6% of the country's total population. We travelled to an Eritrean refugee reception centre in Ethiopia to investigate why such huge numbers are leaving the country illegally.
تقابل تأسيا وتيا كأونا بزمن تيا مالتي كله تأسيا نوما قبيت المزاغلمونيات نخمها نخ عبي لنا تيا بحب جماعة أو سام كل خلينا نخمها نسوي حسد لنا بين مالتي أبزقين نتيا زحش من نابن أنتم من نختمتن نخدم مع خدمت نتيا لهم مالتي نابا ولا عندك سوي حيتغنيها سوي حلن سوي ناس عم غير سوي له سوي حيتغنيها قازيت أوين حنت حبة هاتم حنت أمانة زوجها مولئتها حدش إيتها تبل سابجك زوجها حدش حنت مالتي تبي حنت مدام مالتي إيتوي مالتي أنا قدي وايز بالدول ناس عم قد حنت زاب تانكا مين ديت بال تانكاس محبا ويوتكاس كنا بداية إني مالتي اسمع فيسبوك تقمنا كده يا اخي
تقمنا
تقمنا يا اخي ها يلا أبزا خونش نشجعنا غينم مع شركة بايلو ولا ماسنجر يمو خل انتكا
ناتسلنا ترغيبك
رغيبكي أزي أتوي على الغدا أزي أخذي واشنطن دي
وكاب إيرترا كاب دمت خطأنا جرا استوزعها سجلوا فتنة تأثيرني لها ما أثرت وجهنا بسالي وعطي أمريكا خيدلي أو خيرها أخ مهار لي إنجنير نحن برس بتاعنا شجاري بس اللي بالكان سويت تأمنها قال لنا عندي فرحات نتكاز هون نجار كنقلت زين هالنا قدم قريبت كاتالي زهون نجار تغير كاس قدم حيسوالي
Critics of the government are considered traitors in Eritrea, with imprisonment and disappearances common. Because of this threat, opposition movements and independent journalism are coordinated outside of the country.
There's no freedom of expression. That's as brief as it gets. There are no independent newspapers. We're saying that the people inside the country are voiceless. We are their only voice. What do we want? Justice!
Salam Kadame is a co-founder of the Freedom Friday movement, a group that remotely coordinates underground activists living inside Eritrea. The Eritrean diaspora community are using satellite technology and phones to get information back into their homeland.
I've had death threats. I've had threats of physical violence against me. We're not a political organization that have got a specific political end per se. We want the people to recognize that they ought to have a voice. They're entitled to their voice and they're entitled to express it. So what we're faced with is a very limited way of working. So whereby you can text message, for instance, a lot of people, you cannot do that in Eritrea, or you cannot use the internet because it's monitored. We use telephones as our primary form of contact, the robocalls as we call them. That's a 1-minute message, but that goes out to sometimes 5,000, 3,000 or 10,000 people.
سلام زخبرك حزبي إرترا أب حزبنا بዛ عمፀኛ ስርዓት ክግበር ዝፀንሐን ዘሎን ክፍዕታት ንመጀመርያ ግዜ ብመርትዖታት ተሰሚዩ ዓለማዊ ኣቓልቦ ረኺቡ ኣሎ ኣብ ኤርትራውያን ዝወርድ ዘሎ ግፍዒ በዛ መርማሪት ኮሚሽን ገበናት ኣንጻር ሰብኣውነት ወይስ crimes against humanity ተባሂሉ ተገሊጹ ኣሎ
Every information could land a freedom fighter, the movement, into trouble.
This video shows activists writing campaign messages on banknotes to encourage people to stop fleeing the country and stay and fight for freedom. Here, activists write graffiti and post stickers in phone booths, spreading word of the Freedom Friday movement. In their 4 years of trying, Freedom Friday have managed to smuggle just 15 minutes of footage outside of the country.
Any footage from inside the country that is smuggled out is newsworthy. It's a very rare thing. We've got to smuggle everything into the country, and then getting those pictures and that footage out of the country is another very, very big and a very risky operation. There is only the government owned TV station, so they've been brought up in this very propaganda-filled atmosphere where they have never been allowed to think for themselves. People got a very paranoid worldview, so they're not sure of themselves. They don't know who to trust and who not to trust. We put quite a lot of people at risk. They could get tortured. Masses and masses of people have been taken to prison and questioned specifically on working for Freedom Friday. So these are people who are risking their lives, literally.
With no independent press in Eritrea, and all journalists working for the Ministry of Information, Emmanuel Iyasu aims to provide the country with an independent source of information via satellite.
እዚ ድምፂ ኣሰና እዩ ድምፂ ኣሰና ሶኒን ዓርብን ብቆፃፅራ ኤርትራ ካብ ሰዓት 8 ክሳብ ሰዓት 9 ምሸት ብ15245 ኪሎ ሄርትዝ ወይ ኣብ 19 ሜትር ባንድ ናብ ኤርትራ ዝፍኖ ነፃ ሬድዮ ኤርትራውያን እዩ
كبرات تخاتلتي دمت السنة كما يتوعلو أبناء لهم حموس 31 مقابيت كلتشحن 16 مدبنا فلما زينا قتلنا دما أبتب مخنيات مبل 25 عمت ناس إنت إيرتران في النوذل لنا مدب إيرترا بعين هزبا 25 عمتات ناس إنت دوبارنت سنة يمكن تالي كبر لكم بروح مشت. Before I was the journalist back home in Eritrea, the Minister of Information. I used to interview the president himself a lot. You have freedom here to do whatever you want to do. I mean, but in Eritrea, there is censorship. There is a government line that you have to follow, you know. I mean, somehow, recently it became very popular. People are buying satellite dishes in order to access information. And this shows you probably the hunger they have for information. The geography limits you. I mean, if you are going to bring about real change in your own country. But fortunately, we are lucky to have this internet and we can communicate, we can connect with the people back home. I think I'm using the freedom I have and the availability of the digital processes, you know, to my people.
This undercover footage was acquired by another opposition radio station in November 2015 after being smuggled across the border. Although they are unable to access the country, Amnesty International have used satellite imagery to map the location of prisons in Eritrea. Adaarma is located just outside the capital Asmara. The prison is where national service deserters or those that have been caught trying to cross the border are sent without trial. On his radio show, Emmanuel aired an interview with a prison interrogator who worked there and now lives in exile.
مودة أتادح رخندي أبالا شيء وع بيلم تقيد جرم أفراري حمل قليهم قتلوهم من قليهم جنا أفراري حمل سوم دخلنا مسان ولا مش عمل سوم لو كان بح سجابة بسريهم دحروا له بمقد كات بس بفرحين هذا يجي تاخد كيتهم كنت يتسوم كله له تدق سامري زحل زخل سمين تندادف وما حصوم وهو سيدهم سبكة أو توسيدا بيلم هلواتي اللي بدحري أبي وسيدهم قتلوه ما كنا متياه وستة برنا عدلنا كلنا ولهم
It's easier for a refugee like me to get lost in the new environment because he can work, he can earn money, he can do whatever he wants. But it's the love of the people that is encouraging me to do what I'm doing. You know, I don't do the things that I would like to do as a normal person. I don't give time to my family. You know, they are missing out a lot because I'm busy doing this work. If I went back to Eritrea, I would be killed because I'm an enemy of the state. They call us a lot of names like traitors, CIA agents, or Ethiopian agents, things like that. But we don't care that much about it, you know, because we know what we are doing. And when you see the big picture, I'm doing it out of the love of my people and country, you know.
Kill Boko Haram. For a Muslim, you are a target. If you are a Christian, you are a target. They slaughter people like animals.
Your wife, she
captured by Boko Haram.
We just got word that the Mi-24 Hind is going on operation for air support.
I want to fight for my country. And if I die for my country, I know I die for my country.
We're going to head down that IED-laden road for the final assault into Bama.
Yes, sir. Let me leave this.
I'm in Nigeria. It's one of the wealthiest countries in Africa, but since 2009, it's been facing an insurrection in the north from a group called Boko Haram. I traveled to Nigeria to embed with the country's army as it ramped up its fight against Boko Haram. As the only journalist on the front lines, I arrived at a unit located less than a kilometer away from enemy forces. As we settled in for our first night in country, we quickly discovered how frequently this unit engages in combat. For me, the first indication that there's enemy activity is, or that there's a threat detected, is I hear one of these guns shooting a shell. So you do this every night, pretty much?
Every night.
So they just blasted off a 122 millimeter shell. They shot it, I think you said, almost 9 kilometers downrange into enemy territory.
The most important thing is that once we sight them, either they are vehicle or they are motorcycle, we have to fire the general area.
It's very effective, yes?
Very, very effective.
Scared me. Nigeria is almost equally divided along religious lines. The country's southern region is predominantly Christian and is home to oil and a thriving economy. The north of the country, on the other hand, has a majority Muslim population. With minimal natural resources, the north is extremely poor. Couple that with the lack of government presence, and it's become a breeding ground for the rise of radical Islam. In 2002, Muslim cleric Muhammad Yusuf founded the group Boko Haram. The name loosely translates to Western education is forbidden. So Muhammad Yusuf, the founder, grew up right over there.
Yes.
And then his mosque is right here. Yeah. And so this is literally where Boko Haram started.
Yes.
And you know, most of this
عليهم العافية إن شاء الله، عليهم العافية، ما عليهم شر إن شاء الله، الله يقومهم بالسلامة. والله الحمد لله، والله أزعجونا البنك يا أخي، أقسم بالله مش طبيعي. تمام. حلو تمام. تمام. لا كله بالدفع. نعم نعم طبعا الواحد يشيل الطلعة. نعم. 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 على طول قلت له ابشر. نعم. تعال توصل ما بكتب لك واحد منهم ما يقول ما لا يا ابن الحلال مو هذا القصد بس انت عارف كل ثاني لازم اقول والله انا تابع الموضوع بس هذا القصد.
في حلقة جديدة في حلقة السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم في حلقة جديدة من حلقات تعلم كيف. معكم ضياء من قناة أصحابي. بإذن الله في هذه الحلقة سوف نتعرف كيفية عمل راديو ووضعه في الموقع الخاص بك أو على المدونة الخاصة بك. يعمل لمدة 24 ساعة وأيضا لا يحتاج إلى جهاز يقوم بالعمل لمدة 24 ساعة. فكل ما عليك هو تحميل المقاطع الصوتية، وعند الدخول أو عمل بروجرامز أو تريد أن تقوم بعمل شيء لايف DJ، بإمكان زوار موقعك التحدث لك بدون الأبلود للأغاني الخاصة هذا الموقع، وهو www. بالضغط على في بداية ملايين المقاطع الصوتية، يعني يتيح لك إمكانية عمل أبلود للأغاني. عند الضغط سوف تجدون مكان تضعون فيه الإيميل الخاص بكم، الباسورد، و أيضا يمكنكم وضع لوجو خاص بكم على سبيل المثال. وسوف يقوم بعمل يعني ليس افتراضية ولكنها يجب أن تكون موجودة. وسوف أختار الكانتري الخاصة بي وهي إيجيبت. نعم. سوف أضع الإيميل الخاص بالشروحات كما تلاحظون. سوف أقوم بإدخال كلمة السر. راديو رجل بإمكانه أن يختار رفع عمل أبلود لي على حسب. يوجد كثير من الفئات، سوف أختار على سبيل المثال العربيك. هذا الآن وجود هذا الزر وهو Create Your Web Radio Station. سوف أضغط عليها وبالانتظار قليلا. بعد أن قمت بعمل ملء البيانات واستخراج أو عمل خاص بك، ويقول اذهب إلى الإيميل الخاص بك والتأكد من الرسالة التي تفيد بأن هذه الرسالة يجب علينا تفعيل الرجل الخاص بنا بالضغط على هذا اللينك المرسل من الموقع. سوف تظهر لنا هذه الرسالة وتفيد بأنه بالفعل تم تفعيل الحساب الخاص بنا. الآن سوف نتوجه إلى هذه القائمة وهي قائمة sign in وهي قائمة الدخول. سوف تظهر لنا هذه القائمة. سوف نقوم بإدخال البريد الإلكتروني الخاص بنا أو البريد الذي قمنا بالتسجيل به على هذا الموقع، ومن ثم الرقم السري أو عن البرنامج الخاص بك، وأيضا يمكنك إدخال صوت أحد المتصلين.
Occasionally, we
صليت معي؟ لا والله ما صليت.